These amps, and I just start like running the sound monitor kind of a thing and I watch them and listen to them and that type of thing. And one thing he was talking about A-B-ing with the bass line, I forget a way an amp sounds if I go 20 seconds. You know, that's why you get a bass line. So when we were working on things, we always have two of the same thing. I'll work on one, and then one sounds good. And we say, okay, that sounds better, and then we'll leapfrog a little bit, or we'll bring the two together. It's an interesting way of working.
And generally, Doug sits behind the amp so that he can literally hit one on standby and move the speaker cord over to the other amp, like constantly. And not only that, but he's also back there sort of behind the cabinet gauging the SPL and the low end push, while I'm hearing a little more of the broad frequency of the thing. But just in the same way, when we developed the pickups for this guitar, I built a test guitar and mounted all our test pickups in special rings that would slide in with alligator clip connectors on the top, so we could change a pickup in 15 seconds to really, our ears didn't forget in 15 seconds what we had heard previously. It's the same principle. The last design that we were working on, the first iteration of it, Doug, I mean, to me, it was like a grand slam. I was like, unbelievable. I can't even believe how good this sounds. And it was all based just on the experience we'd had working on another amp, and then me expressing how I would like to see that go forward in a higher powered amp. And I got it, and I'm like, man, you know, this is kind of it. And so he goes, well, I'd like to work on some other things. I think I found some things that are really great that I think will improve it. And he did that, and he sent it to me, and I plugged it in, and within 2 notes, I knew it wasn't even close. The original was way better. And I called him, and I told him, he's like, no problem. But he didn't have that original design there to listen to see what was going on. So when he flew down to my house, we had both those amps there. In 2 seconds, he hears what I'm talking about. And so immediately, the chassis come out, get turned upside down, and sparks start flying. But by virtue of Doug literally, what he did was he proposed, I don't want to just immediately clone, let's just don't assume this first amp is as good as we can possibly get it. Indulge me a little bit, and let's try some halfway measures. So we did that, and we, you know, immediately, like, just go back and forth in no time at all, so you can really hear the difference. Same speaker cabinet now, same speaker cord, everything's the same. No effects, one cord into the amp. You're hearing the purest version of it that there is. And we got it at the end of the day, that day, we worked a long day, and we got it to where we felt like we had made an improvement on the first one. And so we converted that first one to what we thought was an improvement, and then left the second one notch behind it. And we went to bed that night and came back the next morning and plugged in, and within 15 seconds we both knew that we had it right one step back. Yep. And so we converted the main one back to where we thought it was the best, and then on the other one we took another half step back, so he left it with me in that form so that I could listen, and it was just tweaks to the bottom end only, the way the bottom end responded. So I'm going to live with that for a couple of months. I'm going to record with it, I'm going to play it on a gig, and I'm going to find out which one I feel is the most versatile and the most usable version of the bottom end. But it's by this continuous you know, having a reference, a point of reference. And again, to me, it's just got to be, it's got to have, you know, if you were here last night, I played with my band. We play once a week in Austin, so I have this great opportunity to take these amps out and put them through the paces. I mean, like 2-hour gigs, blowing it out. And then I come home and I do a lot of sessions at my house for other people in a situation with my microphones, my preamps, my system. I know how long it should take to get a guitar sound, and I can A/B it to other amps. And so that same amplifier that I took to the gig the night before, I want to be able to bring home and turn it on, and then within 10 seconds, 20 seconds, I'll turn a knob or two, and I know if I just put that mic up in the realm of where I know it's supposed to be, it should sound great. And so it's that thing about the amp has to sound great in both situations for me. Not just because I'm cheap and I don't want to have 2 different amps, but I find that the amp, that's really the sweet spot for me in playing.